All right, so fall is the season. I got on my fall colors and my pussy hat, and we're gonna talk about my November TBR. What up, folks? How you doing? It's your girl Jess. Like I said in the opening, we're gonna talk about my November TBR. I've got 13 books on the docket this month, and I wanted to spend this month reading about and by a lot of Indigenous, Native American, or First Nations peoples. So that's what the majority of my books that I picked this year are going to focus on. Um, I am not a celebrator of Thanksgiving, or at the very least, I try not to. And I say try because there was the last time I celebrated Friendsgiving with my friends. I think it was 2019 or 2018. I don't know. I went back to California to see my friends around November, and we did Friendsgiving. But for the most part, it's, you know, due to historical, political, and ethical reasons, I try not to make that holiday something that I engage in. And during this time of month, I decided to reflect that in my reading. So, a good majority of my books are either written by Indigenous peoples or it is about Indigenous peoples. And we're going to get the ball rolling and start with the first book on my list, which is a historical romance called Autumn Dove by, hold on, let me grab my phone here, by Sylvie F. Summerfield. It is a multicultural or interracial romance between Western between this white woman who moves out west and a Wagoneer who is an indigenous person, and the romance that blossoms between the two of them. So I have I read historical romance on this channel? Yeah, yes. I read a male historical romance in the very beginning for June for Pride Month. So yeah, I'm coming back around, and I saw this. I googled books. I googled what I googled was indigenous or no, I googled Native American romance novels, and this is one of the ones that popped up. It sounded really intriguing, so I put it on the list. And so Autumn Dove by Sylvia S. Summerfield is on the list. Next on the list is Fence. It is a graphic novel about, I think they're teenagers on a fencing team, and it is centers a male romance. So enough said. That was enough for me. I always found fencing to be an incredibly interesting sport. I always thought to myself that if I ever went to like a boarding school or like a really rich school, that like fencing would be the thing that I do. It would be the one sporting activity I take place in. And some and Yeah, I don't know. It just always seems fancy and cool to learn how to sword fight. And during the Olympics, it's one of the few categories that I actually pay attention to and I'm interested in. So yeah, Fence, Volume One, that graphic novel is on the list this month. Also on the list this month, the third book I have on here is The Firekeeper's Daughter by, ooh, forgive me, Angeline Boley. Oh, and, and it says here that it will soon be a Netflix TV series, and I'm here for it. From what I understand, it is a indigenous Native American murder mystery, and I'm here for that. I was not expecting that about the book. I thought it was like a coming of age story, but no. Apparently, it's a YA thriller, and I'm a, that's enough to intrigue me. And the fact that it's coming a Netflix series is really interesting as well. So it's on the list, and I can't wait to get to it. The fourth book on my list is Colleen Hoover's November 9th. This is going to be my very first Colleen Hoover book. She is a staple amongst romance readers, and I have been meaning to read something of hers for a very long time. Then, when I saw amongst her bibliography, amongst her works, was a book titled November 9th, I was like, sweet, I'll read it in November. And so here we go. We have an autumnal romance, our second one on the list, by Colleen Hoover. And I'm really excited. I haven't heard too many people talk so much about this one. So I'm really interested to see what it's about. Like, because I don't even know. I just I was searching for autumnal romance books. Colleen Hoover's November 9th showed up on there. I was like, you know what? Been meaning to read her for a very long time. She's huge amongst romance readers. I myself consider myself a romance reader, so I was just here for it. I was just kind of like, all right, it's going on a list. So I have no idea what it's about, and I actually like the mystery of that, and so you know, I can't wait to get to it and find out what Miss Hoover's got going in this November 9th romance. Next on the list is Eden Robinson's Son of a Trickster. And from what I understand, it's a fantastical coming of age story about an Native American boy. And it's written in own voices. Eden Robinson herself is an Indigenous person. So it made the list. And it sounded really intriguing. And I haven't read any fantastical, slightly surrealist books in a very long time. Surrealism is one of my least favorite, if not the one subgenre or genre I don't like. I can't stand. It's just I've never been into it. I never got into it. Whenever I tell people that, they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "You guys are into it?" I'm like, "Am I the only one?" I feel like it's kind of like what is it? Steampunk. Like everybody hates steampunk. I like it. I think it's interesting. I'm always intrigued by a books, movie, or television show that invokes the aesthetic of steampunk. But surrealism is just one of those things I've never been able to get through. However, in the past, for whatever reason, when it comes to indigenous literature or media, excuse me, I've always um, been able to digest it better and see it a lot more clearly and just appreciate it a lot more. So I guess it has to, for surrealism for me, has to, or the fantastical has to kind of be wrapped up a little bit in culture in order for me to accept it as a as a genre that I can enjoy. So Eden Robinson, Son of a Trickster. I was gonna read her book Monkey Beach instead, but then at the last minute I changed my mind and decided to read Son of a Trickster instead. And if Son of a Trickster is really good, then I can't wait to read Monkey Beach when I get a chance. Next up, I am reading It Happened One Autumn by Lisa Kleypas. Lisa Kleypas is a notorious romance writer who a lot of romance readers absolutely love. But this will be my first Lisa Kleypas book. I haven't really delved into her catalog. And again, I was Google searching autumnal romances because I wanted to read some romance this month, and I wanted to stick within the season. And I discovered It Happened One Autumn, and it's the second book, a part of her Wallflower series. From what I understand, they can be read as standalone, so I don't necessarily need to read book one. But this one has a grumpy sunshine romance, and that was enough for me. With an American heroine, oh my god. So I'm just like I read the synopsis and I was like, done. It's on the list. I don't need to be convinced anymore. So yeah, Lisa Kleypas's It Happened One Summer, part of her Wallflower series, is on my list, and it most definitely will be read by me this summer. This it will definitely be read by me this November. Oh, I am longing for some sun because you know what? It is absolutely autumn out there. I live in Washington, and Washington shows all of its seasons, and it is cold and gray and rainy, and there are beautiful colored leaves just blowing all over the street, and um, yeah, it's kind of pretty. It's I'm not really a fall person, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking out my window right now. It's kind of pretty. Um, I did though sometimes enjoy fall when I lived back home in New Jersey. I thought New Jersey, the East Coast in general, the Upper East Coast in general, has a beautiful autumnal season every year. But Washington comes pretty close. Next up on my list is The Girl of Ink and Stars by my bad. Kieran Millwood Hargrave. It is a YA coming of age story, and it has fantastical sort of surrealist elements to it as well. I thought this was Indigenous voices. I could have sworn when I Googled it, this came up. When I Googled, books by Indigenous authors or books by about Indigenous people, that this was one of them. It takes place on the Canary Islands, which is off of Spain. So I don't know. Or maybe that's my own ignorance, not knowing that there are Indigenous persons off the coast of Spain. But I bought it. It's on the list. I'll have to delve more into detail about and find out whether it is about. Uh, I know it's if it's taking place on the Canary Islands, it's not about Native American persons, but or First Nation persons. But yeah, I'll look a little bit more into that and see if it's written by an Indigenous author and if it's about Indigenous folks. Um, if not, I may take it off the list and replace it with a different book that sheds more light on, you know, that culture, which I'm trying to do this month. If so, I'll probably, yeah, if it's not, then I'll probably read either Cheyenne Madonna or Watermelon Nights. And I know most definitely those are about Native American First Nation and Indigenous persons, and written by people within that 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 culture. So, but for now, we'll say that The Girl of Ink and Stars is on the list. I just looked at the Amazon page though, and it says for readers, where is it? 10 to 12 years old. Uh, it's a short book. It's 240 pages, grade level 5 through 6. Oh, God. Yeah, I did not look at this a lot more thoroughly than I should have. I may end up replacing that book on my list with either Watermelon Nights or Cheyenne Madonna, which is a collection of short stories written by Native American folks and about them. But for now, yeah, like I said, we'll say that The Girl Living in Stars is on the list. The Inheritance Games is the next book on my list. I have been meaning to read this book since it came out. Like, I knew about it months before it was to debut. I was like, I am reading this thing, and then it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for other things that I kept finding that I was just I wanted to read a little bit more. And then BookTube got a hold of it, and everybody and their mom started reading it. And I was like, fuck, now I feel like a bandwagon bitch, when really I was there from the beginning. Um, but it's finally on my list. I'm finally going to get to it. It does feel like a very fall read. But yeah, I finally stopped dicking around. It's on the list. I bought it. It'll be here on Monday. I'm going to read it this month, and I can't wait. Next on the list is The Power of the Dog by Thomas Salvage. I think that's right. Yeah, The Power of the Dog by Thomas Salvage. This book is on the list because it's a Western. For some reason, Westerns scream autumn to me, which is really weird given most Westerns. When you think of a Western, you think of either harsh winter or you think of like boiling hot summers. But for some reason, I think it's the colors. I think it's the reds, the browns, the dusty area, the low sun. It all just screams autumn to me. But anyway, that is part of the reason I put this book on the list. And the other reason is because my pretend husband, Benedict Cumberbatch, is starring in the Netflix film adaptation of it, which will be out later this year. And I wanted to read the book before I saw the film. And it is getting outrageously amazing reviews, and people are already talking Oscar for him, and I'm so excited. I think this will probably be his third nomination. And so I wanted to get my hands on it and read it before I saw the film, and I'm really excited to get into it. I don't want to say I have never read a Western. I just can't remember a Western I've ever read. And honestly, if I had to sit here and think about it, it'll take a while because I don't think I've read a Western since high school. And it was like required read it, and I can't even remember what it was or what it is. But yeah, that's why this book is on the list. Because, like I said, my pretend husband, Benedict Cumberbatch, is starring in the film adaptation of it, which will be out later this year. And it's getting so much hype and so much buzz. And yeah, people are screaming Oscar about it, and so I'm just so thrilled and happy for him. Like I know him, but um, well, I don't. If you didn't catch that sarcasm, I wish I did. I wish I did. Don't tell my husband. No, actually, I think yeah, I think Ben knows I love him, and Ben loves him too. You know what, and I think, and I love that about my relationship with my husband. We can have these like innocent celebrity crushes, and nobody's jealous or upset. And he sometimes likes the same people that I like, and I'm like, oh my god, I would leave you for so and so, and he'd be like, you better. Next on my list is There by Tommy Orange, which is about Native Americans, written by a Native American. It is about 12 Indigenous men. I don't, is it men? Is there a mix of gender? I don't know. But it's about 12 Native Americans traveling together to get to a powwow. And it's a literary fiction novel, and from what I understand, it's beautiful and heartbreaking. And so I cannot wait to be angry and cry. And I'm super excited about this book. It has won like so much praise and so many awards, and I'm just honest to God, like pens and needles, like can't wait to sink into that book and find out what it's about. And yeah, so it goes with the theme of this month. It's on the list, and I can't wait to get into Tommy Orange's There. Turkey Day Murder by Leslie Mayer. I think it's Meir. Ugh, I hope I'm butchering it. Ugh, you know what? God damn it! Now I have to. Hey Gary, you've been fucking YouTube ads. Yeah, just keep watch. I don't care though. I'm never paying for the premium. It's never gonna happen. Meyer. Okay. Leslie Meyer. So yeah, Turkey Day Murder by Leslie Meyer. It is a cozy murder mystery. Leslie Meyer centers all her cozy murder mysteries around a holiday, and I fucking love that gimmick. Like, oh my god. To the point where she sometimes has to circle back, and she has like several Christmas murder mysteries, several Thanksgiving ones, Halloween ones. I think at one point she ran out of holidays and she started doing birthday themed ones, and then she went back to holidays. Like, I love that. And so I cannot wait to read Turkey Day Murder. And from what I understand, the book is about the main character or heroine trying to absolve her Native American friend of a murder he did not commit. Already goes with the theme. We're already here for it. I think last, no, okay. Second to last on this list is Wild Love by Lauren Accardo. I have no idea what this book's about. I just know it is an autumnal romance, and you can tell by this picture of the cover. And I'm super duper hella fucking excited about finding out what it's about. I think it might be a clean romance though. Like, I don't like, this cover doesn't scream sexy times are gonna happen. Uh and I can't tell if the guy on the cover is of a different race or just looks, I don't know. Oh wait, is this under multicultural? No, it's not. Okay. So let's see. On Amazon has it under comedic dramas and plays. That's weird. Small town and rural fiction books and romantic comedy books. Okay, so it's a rom-com book. Um, but yeah, like, again, I googled autumnal romance books, and this beautiful cover popped up. I don't know what it's about. I just threw it on the list, and I was like, okay, we'll see. But yeah, I don't know if it's a clean romance or not. Google didn't have an under clean romances, so who knows? But yeah, the cover actually doesn't scream sexy times may or may not happen. So we'll see. Because you guys know I need at least a good 2 to 3 love scenes in my romance novels. So, and if you're not going to give me that many, you got to give me one really good one or one amazing fucking kiss at the end. Build up that sexual tension, bitch. Otherwise, you will lose me. Last up on this list is Maud's Line by Margaret Verbal. It is literary fiction, and it's about a woman named Maud who lives in 1920s Oklahoma, out west, who strikes up an affair with a newcomer to town who sells books. And I am intrigued. I like, girl, have your affair with your sexy mobile librarian, like, because yeah, it says that, like, he has a wagon full of books. So yeah, um, finalist for Pulitzer Prize. Oh my god, so it's got to be good. Yeah. I don't know if Margaret Verbo is Indigenous. I think she is. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself in the wrap up for at the end of the month about it. But yeah, Native American literary fiction made the list. It sounded really intriguing. Um, and I'm really interested in that. And it's got a bit of a Western feel as well. So yeah, I'm really interested in finding out about Maud and her life, and what's it like living in 1920s Oklahoma, and her illicit affair with the bookmobile guy. All right, so those are the books. I think those are all the ones on my list. I did have The Autumn Bride on here, but I took it off for, what did I take it off for? Oh, you know what it was? Like, Goodreads and Amazon had like two competingly different synopsises for it. Like, I had it on the list. I can't remember which one, but one of them, the synopsis, I think it was, yeah, it was Amazon. Amazon synopsis made me want to read it, but then Goodreads synopsis made me like not want to read it. And then Book Riot, I saw that their synopsis, and so I took it off the list, and then I bought all my books. And then afterward, I went on Book Riot, and they had The Autumn Bride on their list of like autumnal romance books, and their synopsis definitely made me want to read it. And I was pissed off that I had already bought my books for the month. But it's not like I can't get another one, right? Maybe I'll save it for next autumn. I'll read it next autumn. That was on here. So was The Cottage of Pumpkin and Vine, but only a Kindle edition. They had a paperback edition on Amazon, and it's gone now for some reason. Some reason The Cottage on Pumpkin and Vine is only available on Kindle, and I don't read online. I don't read on electronic devices. I only read fan fiction on electronic devices. I like physical books or an audiobook, and for some reason, The Cottage on Pumpkin and Vine is no longer available as paperback or audio. So I took that off the list and replaced it with Lisa Kleypas's It Happened One Autumn. So yeah, those are the 13 books on my list. I am going to try with everything in me to get to all of them. Um, Not 11, not 12, all of them. But who knows? Like, sometimes you gotta DNF some shit, and that fucking sucks. I hate DNF in books. But I also am just not going to waste my time with something that doesn't interest me or is not good. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that does not happen this month in November. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope your Halloween was great. I love you guys very much. Wash your hands, take care of your feet, wash your face, moisturize, because it is windy out there and you don't want that cracked skin. You don't want windburn. It's not attractive. Wear a mask, get vaccinated, get your booster shot if you haven't already, if you are vaccinated. And I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.